In her speech in North Carolina, Kamala Harris focused on several key issues related to the upcoming election and the future of the country. She began by urging the audience to come together and prepare for the election, noting that there were 23 days left until Election Day, and only 4 days until early voting began. She emphasized that this election would be tough and warned that they were running as underdogs, but with hard work, they could win. Main themes of the speech. 2 visions for America. Harris explained that the election represents a clash between 2 different approaches. One, associated with Donald Trump, is focused on the past and centered on the candidate's personal interests. In contrast, her campaign is focused on the future and addressing the problems families are facing. The campaign's priorities include lowering the cost of living, supporting small businesses, protecting reproductive rights, and ensuring national security. Criticism of Donald Trump. Harris highlighted that Trump does not offer concrete plans to solve the nation's problems and instead focuses on himself. She pointed out his refusal to release medical records, undergo interviews, and participate in a second debate, which raises concerns about his ability to lead the country. Economic initiatives. A significant part of her speech involved proposals to create an opportunity economy. She mentioned plans to reduce housing costs, help first-time homebuyers, and expand Medicare to cover services for elderly care. Harris also promised to fight corporate price gouging on products and offered tax relief for the middle class, including $6,000 for parents of their first child. Trump's Project 2025. Harris called attention to Trump's Project 2025, which she described as dangerous, including tax cuts for billionaires, reductions in social programs, and a new tax on everyday goods. She emphasized that this would increase costs for American families by $4,000 annually and drive up prices for basic necessities. Reproductive rights. Harris condemned Trump and the Republicans' attempts to restrict women's rights to abortion, noting that their laws endanger the health and freedoms of women, particularly in North Carolina. She promised that, as president, she would sign a law restoring the right to abortion. Defense of democracy and rights. Harris warned about the threat Trump poses to democracy if he returns to power, calling him a potential dictator. She reminded the audience of the danger Trump represents to the Constitution and pointed to warnings from his former colleagues, such as General Milley, who called Trump the most dangerous person for the country. In conclusion, Harris urged everyone to register and vote early, reminding them that their vote is their power as citizens. Kamala Harris's speech in North Carolina can be seen as a key part of her campaign aimed at mobilizing voters, strengthening support among Democrats, and drawing attention to the critical issues that will shape the upcoming election. What I liked about the speech: focus on specific issues. Harris concentrated on real problems that concern Americans: economy, healthcare, and women's rights. She avoided abstract ideas and directly addressed what she plans to do to reduce the cost of living, support families, and protect social programs. For instance, her promise to lower housing costs, expand Medicare for elderly care, and assist young families in purchasing homes sounds appealing, especially to those struggling with economic instability. Clear contrast between Democratic and Republican agendas. Harris effectively highlighted the differences between her platform and Donald Trump's. She portrayed him as a candidate who is disconnected from the needs of the people and focused solely on his personal interests. This approach is likely aimed at increasing dissatisfaction among moderate voters and those disillusioned with Trump's administration. She also used criticism of his Project 2025 to illustrate the potential radical consequences of his policies for ordinary Americans. Emotional connection. Harris skillfully used personal stories to create an emotional bond with the audience. For example, her story about caring for her sick mother demonstrated her humanity and sincere understanding of the difficulties faced by many American families. These moments build trust with the audience and reinforce her image as a leader who understands the real issues people face. Emphasis on women's rights and freedoms. Harris made a strong emphasis on women's rights, one of the most important topics in modern political debates. Her condemnation of Trump's efforts to overturn Roe v. Wade and her promise to restore reproductive rights resonate with many women and those who support their right to choose. She ties this issue into a broader theme of protecting personal freedoms and rights, which helps shape her campaign as one that defends the fundamental principles of democracy. Weaknesses or areas for improvement. Overemphasis on Donald Trump. While criticism of Trump is an effective strategy, at some point it may become too overbearing and distracting. Harris dedicated a significant portion of her speech to attacking his actions, whereas she could have spent more time discussing her own achievements and positive initiatives. Too much focus on the negative aspects of Trump could make the campaign appear built on antagonism rather than its own accomplishments and vision for the future. Some promises seem overly ambitious. For instance, the promise to lower housing costs and simultaneously expand social programs would require enormous financial resources. For voters more skeptical of government spending, these promises might seem unrealistic or populist. It would be better if Harris focused more on concrete steps to implement these programs to make her position more realistic and convincing. Appeal to conservative voters. Despite Harris's emphasis on receiving support not only from Democrats but also from Republicans and independents, she did not fully appeal to this audience. In the current political climate, she might need to place greater emphasis on topics that could attract moderate conservatives or independents, such as supporting small businesses or economic reforms. Overall, her speech seemed more targeted at the Democratic Party's core base. Overall conclusions. Kamala Harris's speech in North Carolina was strong in terms of mobilizing the Democratic base and energizing voters ahead of early voting. It was emotionally charged, focused on addressing key issues, and demonstrated a clear contrast between the Democrats' progressive agenda and the conservative views of Trump and the Republicans. However, she should be cautious not to overemphasize criticism of Trump and place greater focus on her own positive initiatives and their concrete implementation steps. This would help her appeal to a broader audience, particularly among moderates and undecided voters. For success, she needs to maintain this momentum and continue fighting for every voter group by offering them concrete, tangible solutions to their problems. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed my review and want to stay updated on all the important events, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any new videos. Share your thoughts in the comments. Your opinion truly matters. See you in the next videos, friends. Take care and see you soon.